Hello, everybody, wherever you may be. A very happy 2023 to you around the world. This is your solar weather update for amateur and shortwave radio bands for the HF bands, and this will run from Wednesday, the 4th of January 2023 until Saturday, the 7th of January 2023. Here is your A1A. Got to get used to saying 2023 here, so bear with me. There is a new sunspot group coming on the southern hemisphere of the sun. You can see it there about 8 o'clock, a smaller one there around 10. So some more sunspot regions to come. Our SFIs are going to dip just a little bit here for a few days and then come back up. We should see some very good conditions on both the HF bands for amateur radio and shortwave in the coming days. Magnetosphere view, this really shows how massive these sunspot regions are. 3180, 81, 3177, 3176. And there you see the departure of 3173 and 3179. The two new sunspots should be off of the east limb of the sun. That'd be the left side of this shot of it here by Saturday. So we should see some improving SFIs hopefully by Saturday. Coronal hole map. Nothing really is hitting us with a high solar wind component. We look for solar winds to be at 500 kilometers per second or higher when we're having a solar wind issue from the sun. But currently, we're not facing any issues like that. So good conditions. Last 3 days of solar flare detection, you see we had a little bit of activity yesterday. It just kind of peaked up right in the middle of the day. 2 days ago on Monday, you could see some sharp flares that nearly reached the M class. And today, we're seeing a little bump in the SFI, solar flare detection as the day is progressing. So I think the SFI is going to drop just a little bit today and possibly tomorrow. But by Friday, Saturday, I think better conditions are on the way. Current SFI 149, up 3 from yesterday. The other metrics are down. The sunspot number is down 5 to 89. The area number is down 170 to 930. The global D-layer absorption, take a look at this, where the sun is overhead right now, nearly to about 18 megahertz in the southern hemisphere. And this is important because a lot of people in New Zealand and in Australia use 40 meters during the day. Right now, 40 meters is about 5 dB of attenuation in the southern hemisphere. So folks in the southern hemisphere like Australia, New Zealand, places that you like to work shorter during the daytime, 40 meters is going to be a little more difficult to work for the next probably 2 days here. The KP index is coming down. We did reach KP5 earlier today at 0600. Now we're going down much lower. We're just above a 2, currently about a KP2 plus 5 or so. So noise floor is going down. That's a good sign. BZ latitude, another great sign today, very much north. Now, here in the northern hemisphere, that's good. That means we won't have really much QSB on the bands, but in the south, definitely some QSB will be headed your way today. 3-day geomagnetic forecast. We're in the G1 storm today and tomorrow. You can see that. And then on Friday the 6th, you can see everything start to calm down. So lower noise floors and a little better conditions from our sun. Current QRZ conditions, SFI 149. Sunspot number is 86. A index is 6. K is 3. That is unsettled. That means your signal noise level currently is about S2 to S3 on the lower bands. And the HF conditions, depending upon where you're at in the world, that should be much better forecast than that. EME degree for moon balancers is fair. Not much activity for Aurora right now. The Aurora is just closed both north and south today. Kilo Charlie 2 Golf map. As of 1830 UTC, this shows just how tightly wound the meter bands are. And earlier today, I had a chance to take a look through Europe, and it was exactly as we forecast the other day. It's just about to Scotland north. You're not getting 10 meters. That's where 12 starts coming in, and of course 15 as you head north. So folks in Europe, right about the Denmark line south, you'll get some 10-meter openings. Won't be long, but they'll be there. And the farther south you go, the more you'll have 10 meters during the day. Here in North America, 10 meters is pretty good for most of the United States and part of Canada. You can see basically to the southern tip of Hudson Bay, that's right about where 10 meters is going to be in Canada, and then through the south into the United States. 10 meters should be open most of the day here. Southern hemisphere conditions, take a look here. You got a big area there of 12 meters going right through the northern part of South America, and then 10 meters for the most part of the rest of it. So this is a great 10-meter propagation in South America as well as Africa, but there is an area towards the middle part of both continents that are on 12 meters. Southern hemisphere and the Far East, here is where we have Australia. Australia, you're going to get 10 meters, most likely about close to between Melbourne and Canberra. So Melbourne, Canberra north, 10 meters. South of there, you're going to be on 12 and possibly the 15-meter band. That's right about the line where 10 is trending. So 10 going north in the southern hemisphere, and in the northern hemisphere, it's slightly going south. And you can kind of see that little outlier there on 10 where it goes way south towards almost the North Carolina line, and then goes way north again. So that's actually even hitting a little bit of the 12-meter band. Take a close look at this. You'll see how both frequencies have a little bit of a southern dip there in the forecast. Solar cycle 25, this is the great news. Look at this. We have already reached the maximum forecast for both the sunspot number and the SFI, and we're literally about 18 months ahead of schedule. Should be interesting to see how well this solar cycle goes, and I don't know if we peak all the way in the kind of the late part of 2025, might be early 2025. We'll have to wait and see, but current metrics are fantastic for solar cycle 25, much better than were forecast earlier. Your amateur and shortwave forecast powered by ICOM. ICOM for the love of ham radio. And bear with me, my friends, I changed everything except for the part that says through Sunday. Should be through Saturday. Forgive me for that. I appreciate your understanding there. There's a lot into this forecast. QSB today, Southern Hemisphere, because the north is getting so much more ionization from the sun than the south is. So QS Baker in the southern hemisphere through at least Friday. SFI should slowly drop through Friday as well, but not to terribly low levels. Noise floor is also decreasing by Saturday. It should be about an S0 to S1. So that's basically nil noise floor below 10 megahertz. Voice bands north, mid, and southern hemisphere 20, 17, 15, 12 in the 10-meter band. If you're south of about 50 degrees in the north, and north of about 50 degrees or so in the south latitudes. CB radio skip is open during the day, north, mid, and southern latitudes. Data modes 30 to 10 in most latitudes around the world. Just depends how far south you are and how far north you are to be able to work the data modes. Nighttime amateur radio, and we got noise floors decreasing below 10 megahertz to about S0 to S1 through the weekend. Nighttime amateur radio bands 160, 80, 60, 40, 30. Some great DX on 20 meters at sunset here in the northern hemisphere. Also very good in the southern hemisphere on 20, but they also get a little 17 and even some 15 right now at sunset. So monitor your maximum usable frequency at sunset, then work it as long as you can and start to scoot to lower bands. Daytime shortwave listeners, great SFIs through Saturday, lowering noise floors as well below 10 megahertz by Saturday. Shortwave daytime bands 31, 25, 22, 19, 15, and 13. So good short wave for you. In the northern hemisphere, much less fading on signals. So should be a really good 2 or 3 days to DX on shortwave daytime. Nighttime shortwave, great SFIs, noise floors decreasing by Saturday to S0, S1. That's a very quiet noise floor. Shortwave nighttime bands, 120, 90, 75 and 60, 49, 41, 31, 25, 22. And the 19-meter band still open about 3 hours after sunset in the southern hemisphere, and the signals just start to fade away. So some good conditions to work your radio for the next few days. We've got lowering noise floors, a really decent SFI, and it's been strong for the last few days. Excellent conditions to make some very good calls. I hope to do a ham radio live show today. I want to show you a video that might explain that things in your world just aren't as bad as they could be. I made the QSO of my lifetime yesterday. Hope to see you there. Until we meet again, God bless you wherever you are in the great world of ours, and thanks for watching the weather segment. Goodbye, everybody.